Hi, it's Dr. Doug Curtis.
And Lucy Curtis from Dyslexic and Unstoppable. Our mission is to help dyslexics rediscover their inner power.
That's right, and welcome to the second in this video series, 3 mistakes that even smart parents make when their child is struggling in school. And this is about misidentifying symptoms that you see. Right, so one of the symptoms parents talk about or see is hyperactivity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what's the first thing that comes to mind?
ADHD.
Yeah, and I mean, you could even talk about it from our standpoint when our son was young, remember at the office, right?
Well, it's just because there's so much, there's like these trends that show up in medicine or things like that, that people, okay, this is what it is because everybody else has that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everybody says, okay, I see this symptoms, this is what it is.
Right.
And then you see them as you see them coming in your office.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Right.
that you've gone through this journey, you're like, wow, this is not at all what it is.
Right, exactly, and that's the whole thing is figuring out what the actual root cause is, like we talked about in the first video. If you didn't see that video, you can hit the button up above and it'll direct you to that video. But it's not figuring out what the problem is, so you're kind of trying to fix the wrong problem, right? So like with our son, when he was struggling, he would squirm in his chair, he would jump out, he would start, well, one thing he would do is rub his eyes and he'd be tired all the time. Anything to not do the reading or the spelling or the writing, right? And so it looked like he had ADHD. And there was that one time book, I don't know if you want to talk about the story that you were in my office.
Yeah, because I was looking at the Vanderbilt, the tests that they do for the ADHD, and I was sitting there and I was reading all the symptoms, and I was like, wow, yeah, he has this, that, this. So I was like, wow, he has ADHD. And then when we start on this journey, you don't really know what's going on, and you're stressed out, and you can be smart and everything, but it's like when it's your child, you become you lose perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
And all of a sudden, then you go back and you're like, wow, it wasn't ADHD, because when we figured out it was dyslexia, the symptoms, as he got help, the symptoms went away.
Right, exactly.
And it was related to other things.
Right, exactly. So that's a big thing, is to, even when you think okay, my son is completely, I always say son because it was our son, right? But my son or daughter is completely unable to focus, unable to pay attention. You need to take that step back. You need to reevaluate. You need to make sure that you've identified the real problem. And I think also, like we always say, to look at where the symptoms are. Are they just in the school? Are they just when he's doing something that he finds difficult, like reading?
When does it happen, right?
Yeah. Or, like for our son, reading was a real struggle, but he could sit and do Legos for hours and hours and hours, and his attention was fine, right? So it's those kinds of things, is realizing not every time the child's inattentive or hyperactive that it's ADHD.
Right.
Right? So we'll have the third video coming up soon, but what we'd like you to do now is leave us a comment below. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Have you noticed inattention in your child, and have you ever thought it might be ADHD? And what do you think that maybe it would be something different? So leave us a comment below and then wait for the third video. Thanks.